What's going on, everybody? This is the Risky 910 podcast. I'm here with my co-host Dylan Kraft, and we got a special guest up here with you guys today. This right here is a longtime friend of mine, and we've been meaning to get him on the show for quite some time. Tim has been so patient about it. This right here is actually our first episode of the year, coming in February. Greatest month ever, my birthday month. Just putting that out there, but
leap year, baby.
Yeah, leap year, baby. Let's go.
We're gonna party.
Got
like
a real
it's
birthday this
1996.
year. But just to introduce you guys, this right here is Tim Balogh, Timothy Balogh, whichever one you decide to be by. I know you as Tim. That's what I'm gonna call you, brother. The Celtic
assassin. Whatever you're comfortable with.
The Celtic assassin. Yes. So Tim, man, what's been going on with you? How you been doing?
I've been doing pretty good, just been chilling, just normal stuff, work, training, repeat kind of thing, that's pretty much it.
Anybody that doesn't know, Tim is an active MMA fighter at this point right now. And, Tim, when's the last time that you have competed?
My last fight was on September, somewhere in September of 2023. That was declared the last time that I would consider, being an amateur, and I would need to move on to go pro. Because at that point, because I've had 9 amateur fights through from 2017 to pretty much 2023, and unfortunately I've had 3 shots at titles, and unfortunately they haven't been successful. So it's like, we need to move on here, kind of thing,
Yeah, for sure. Well, as good as I know, being an athlete, we ain't getting no younger, brother. So you got to utilize that time as much as possible.
Yeah, I'm 29 now, so.
Hey, I'll be 28 coming up here soon. But before we jump into that, man, I just want to kind of get a little bit of a backstory. Obviously, I know you from Burgaw Elementary School. We grew up together. Just seeing you blossom from that time point, you were, from my perspective, a quiet guy, but at the same time, you got along with people great. I never known for you to have any enemies or anything like that. Then, fast forward later on in the life.
Yeah, if I did have enemies, I was definitely well protected from my friends and family and stuff like that. So they definitely, up until I'm, I moved out, pretty much, so I had to do what I needed to do.
Right. I understand, brother. So before we get into the MMA side of the world, let's talk about in high school, we were in JROTC together. That was a big thing for you. I know how much it meant to you. Kind of give us a backstory of how that went for you, and what was the purpose behind it?
The purpose behind it, it's because throughout my life, I was very much into military stuff. I love the culture of warrior type stuff, like anything that resembled that type of stuff, like the samurais, the Vikings, especially the Vikings. Just any form of it, I delved right into it. And ideally, when I was in middle school, I wanted to go in the Marine Corps. That was like the big thing that I wanted to do. I went to Paris Island twice for graduations and stuff like that. So that was big experience in terms of how that would. And I looked into it like crazy and stuff like that. And plus, I had Star Wars, so that was definitely another portion of it. But in terms of the JRTC, that was going to be my gateway. I felt like it was going to be my gateway because my mom was definitely hesitant in terms of just her being protective mother, which is nothing I hold her against her at all. Because the only problems that she had was because they're gonna scream at you. In boot camp and all that type, that it was stuff like that she was more worried about. And I basically put myself in that situation throughout those. I mean, you've seen it. I ingrained myself, so I was well prepared for it, unlike certain people I can think of on the top of my head.
Hey, well, I can put it like this: Colonel Jones and Sergeant Keeler sure made sure that we were comfortable with being yelled at.
Yeah, Well, not even that. I've seen it. I've seen it not even just in military form. I've seen it in just like in general in classrooms. A lot of the classrooms that I was in, and in my personal perspective, like they were a lot of they were bad seeds, as I would like to put it. Um, Definitely, like a lot of times, like there'll be either like a screaming match between students and teachers, or students against students. Resource officers will be in there. I remember one time a student. My parents' house was like down the street from Burgaw Middle,
Yeah.
and fucking there was a kid. I can't remember who it was, but there was a kid who ran down that street, and a cop car follows him right down that road.
Good old
So
Burgaw.
it's good old Burgaw, yeah. But yeah, it was just stuff I knew what I was gonna have to do. I was like, and I even had an interview that would ask me like, you understand the risk of like when you go to war and stuff like that. And I told him, bro, I made sure to understand that perfectly. I almost ingrained myself into that type of world, and I was perfectly fine with it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Let's see. Well, I don't know. Dylan, I feel like Dylan is full of questions. I don't want to step on his toes too much over here. So I'm
Well,
allowing you to say anything.
I'm still learning the fighting world, so I'm like more observing at this point.
Well, that's fine. That's
Yeah, I
fine.
know.
Tim,
Yeah.
this is a perfect time. We get to teach a lesson, brother. We get to teach a lesson.
Hey, that's good. That's good for the show.
Yeah,
You can teach everything.
for sure. Before we get into it, though, 2016, you won a pretty nice award, man. Kind of walk me through what that was about, if you could. Yeah, I think it
2015,
was 2015 or 2016. I can't remember exactly which date it was. It was one of those years.
Oh, you mean the video?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yeah. That was for like for the longest time, the Arc of North Carolina that represents those on the spectrum or whatever disabilities or anything like that. And I've been part. Well, I would say my family's been part with them in terms of, like, because they took care of, like, in terms of like health insurance and stuff like that. And also like the therapies that I needed. A lot of the stuff that were needed and goals that were set to make sure that I am speaking to you right now in terms of
Right.
my speech, like that. So what that was is like I've had that so long to the point where, and what comes with that is like I don't call them babysitters. I call them workers. So they're essentially just like they're uh, they're people that help you, like, just like, they're basically they're excuse me, they're babysitter for you,
Yeah.
and they just they help you with homework, and they get you to do activities and stuff like that. You'll probably see them a couple of times. And I've had them up until high school, and to this point, I don't need them. I needed to be just in an independent state, and that's all it was. Because
That's
at that
awesome,
point,
man.
I was just like, we were just going to the movies like once a month, because there's nothing for me. Like I'm not a man child going to like the children's museum or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
like that'd be kind of creepy. Um, so and my mom understood it, and we basically I forget what I don't know what it's called exactly, but it's just basically giving up what I had and giving it to somebody who possibly needs it a lot more than I do now.
Right.
And the speech was just basically just going down, and from my mom's perspective, that speech was just going down the whole timeline of like the struggles that, and especially my mother. My mother's a big part of this, along with my dad, but my dad was more like just making sure we had food on the table and stuff like that. But in terms of like representing me, my mom was doing that a lot.
Yeah, that's cool,
So
man. That's cool.
that's what that speech is, and that speech prior to a certain president's uh, come up, come up, that would have gone to the White House, because in my personal opinion, there is there's always been a struggle in education. I mean, it happened throughout when we were in school, like
Yeah.
really, really bad, to the point where like I'm I'm hearing that people were like with reading grades, or like reading abilities of a second grade, which is what
Yeah.
I was at one point. and
Yeah.
I got help to bump that up a little bit more. But it's just like it's bad, and that was like that should have gone to the White House. Like something should have happened, but I digress.
Hey, well, I just love the fact that you can say that the improvement has happened on your end and that you got away from that and you got that independence that I know that you wanted. So congrats to you for that, brother.
That's an earning thing. That's not a given thing.
Yes, sir. Well, one thing I know about Tim's a go-getter.
Right.
I try to be. I definitely try to be.
So
when was the last time you went to the movies?
the last time I went to the movie,
Do people still go to the movies?
I
hate that.
Not
That's
really,
the one part about that I got out of. But
I want to say the last time I went to the movies was to go see Black Panther, the first one.
The first one? Wow, really?
That's the last time I've been to the movies, bro. It's been quite some time.
It's difficult to go to the movies these days. I normally wait until like something Marvel happens or Star Wars related happens, but they always end up being on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I know that you're a big Marvel guy. So
that was in 2018.
I'm gonna put you on the spot right here with this right here. What is your favorite character?
Damn, dude, it's a toss up between there's like three that I could think of. Is Captain America, obviously, for obvious reasons. Wolverine, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and the Punisher is definitely right there with
Punisher's up there for me.
So out of those three right there, if you had to be one of them, what
absorb
if we were in
powers.
a supernatural world here, like which one would you pick to be?
Fucking A, man. That's also a toss up.
I was gonna put you on the spot, baby. Right here.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, it would be either Captain America or Punisher, but I would probably have to pick. It would probably be Captain America, I would say.
Yeah, that is the answer that I wanted to hear right there.
So I got.
That is definitely you.
I literally just thought about this. The Flash.
Yeah,
everything's fast.
Yes,
everything. Bless his wife.
I knew, Tim. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't prepare you, but I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming. It's got to be Dylan. For Dylan,
that's not good. That's really not good.
We're gonna move along here. Tim,
90 mile an hour.
So you being the nice guy that you are, you know what I'm saying? Like as far as competitiveness, I know that you've been a competitor for quite some while because like I remember even talking back to whenever in your airsoft days. I don't know if you still do that or not, but I remember how competitive that used to get. I didn't know there was actual leagues for it and stuff until I started watching your stuff. And then I kind of found out about it. But
oh, dude, you'll go down a whole rabbit hole on that stuff. Man.
Yeah, bro. Like some of the stuff that I see up there, I mean, like they have guys that are legit. Like they get the uniforms, they hide in the woods, bushes, all this camp. I'm talking about people are getting sniped from distances, bro, that they should not be getting
battlefield style.
Yeah, like it's legit. It is legit.
Yeah.
But how did you what made you get into the MMA world?
Well, yeah, going back to like the idea of going into military service, that option fell through for me, and I had a loosely idea of cage fighting because it was really the only form of sports I would watch. And I'm probably gonna piss y'all off. I don't watch football. I watch basketball.
Brother, I understand. Everybody's got their thing.
Yeah.
I respect it. I totally respect it. But like in terms of me watching it, like I'm like, the fuck is this? But fighting for really. But fighting interests me because I don't know. I just like it was just something that I could gravitate towards. I watched back in the day. I was watching with my buddies. We watched a lot of Anderson Silva.
Oh yeah.
Or we watched like two of the fights that he was in. That if you remember Brandon B.
Yeah. Bamberger.
Yeah. So this is
Yeah.
funny. This is funny. So he was a big, like, he's a fucking dick rider for fucking Anderson Silva, and the fight, the fight where he fought Chris Weidman for the first time,
Oh wow.
and
Yeah. Was a
that happened,
That was
dude. I swear to you, jaw dropped. He was in shock, and this was like poetic for me because he, like, whenever we played the UFC game, he picked Anderson Silva and he beat your ass with him. And as soon as that happened in real life, I fucking applauded. I was laughing. I was pointing and laughing at Brandon. I was like, "Fuck you!" And
yeah.
and then when like that was my moment right there. And then like and then when the second fight happened, I was legit scared. And then as soon as Silva broke his leg, I was like, "Thank God that happened. I made $10 that night. I'm okay with that."
$10. That's what I'm talking about.
I was okay with it. But yeah, yeah. So that was my second idea in terms of like what I wanted to do in life, pretty much, because like, you know, like they were trying to get me into like my mom was really pushing for the idea of college. I didn't have an interest for it. I was interested in the stuff that I was into. That was it. And of course, military. All you need is a high school diploma. Sick. Okay. Did not know that it involved an ASVAB, and you had to be smarter than what I was then. And then even the idea of college wouldn't happen because if they didn't have like a certain program for people like me, then there would be no point. So what's the point of getting me into college when they don't have this program? Because I got a letter, especially after the championship and stuff like that, and so we can't do anything with it because they don't have a program for me. So what's the point of even thinking about me going to college? So that was my thought.
Right.
I just didn't have an interest for it. So yeah, I mean, and my favorite fighters were GSP. George St. Pierre. That was the big one. He's, in my opinion, the greatest. In my personal opinion.
Hey, I can completely understand that, man. Hey, what's crazy? I was just getting ready to ask you who was your favorite fighter, because I feel like at one point I used to see you share a lot of Conor McGregor stuff, so I thought you were a big Conor fan. So to hear GSP just surprised me.
Yeah, no, like GSP was I watched him up until his last fight with Johnny Hendricks, and when he left, it was sad. And then Conor came along, and I was like, oh, I like this. And I would say he was definitely like a gateway for me, especially at the time where he was. It was July of 2015 is when I started training, and I got my first full-time job, so I just ran off with that.
Nice.
And yeah, that was, and then a lot of times kind of compare me to him. I don't see it, but I guess.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm gonna be honest. So I came and watched your first Emmy fight, bro.
Actually, you saw the second one.
Oh yeah. That was the one. Oh, Battle of the South, right? Wasn't that one?
Yep.
Yeah. So I came and saw that. I'm not gonna lie, bro. The swagger that you came out with was a little Conor McGregor-ish. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was some swagger. But when I tell you, dude, that we got so hyped seeing you out there fight, man, it was me, and I can't remember who all else was out there, but I know it was a couple of us that came by and watched that fight, bro. And that was something like. You don't know it, but you got me to a point where like I was excited about getting in the cage because at that point I hadn't even competed yet, and just to see you in there, bro. I can remember going. I just told Dylan about this the other day. I don't know if you remember this or not, but at Lions Crest, whenever you were getting ready to,
I heard the episode. I heard the episode on Athletic Podcast. I heard it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't never mention this part of it though. So I'm in there training with you, and obviously there's a big weight difference between us, right? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, all right, I'm not going to be trying to punch the full potential because these guys are a lot smaller than me. And then wham, you hit me with a cross right in the nose that I never forgot about. After that, I said, okay, I could not take it easy on these guys. That shit hurt.
The thing is, that was prepping for my first fight, and it's like I mean, there is set weight classes, to a degree, but for me, I don't give a flying fuck. I don't care who. I mean, I'll spar, and I will do it. I mean, I would do it with anybody, with
Yeah,
every level or any weight class or anything like that. It helps me, especially because of how little I am. Well, I wouldn't say little. I'm pretty chubby. Uh, but yeah, it's just like it doesn't matter as long like whatever like for instance like as big as you are, it helps me in the long run because if I'll be able to lift people up and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's the thing, man. I try to anytime that I spar with anybody, whether they're better than me or they're not, I try to take a lesson from that sparring session because if that's the whole purpose of it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to learn things about yourself, but also you're learning different things from different opponents that you're going against. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll find a weak spot in your game, or you might find something that worked that you're like, oh shit, I've never tried that before.
Yeah,
And you know, it gives you an opportunity to set it up and see if you can land that again. So it's a lot of stuff
yeah,
that you learn from sparring, and that's one of the biggest things that I try to get guys that you know that if I get a chance to train with them, I try to get them to understand like we're not here to dominate each other. We're here to make each other better. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
That
Like
yeah.
if
I've never been like that
yeah,
at
yeah,
all.
for sure, for sure. You definitely have it, and that's one thing I can say. Shout out to Lions Crest too. At the time whenever I was there, you obviously probably remember his name. I can't remember his name. The guy that owns the gym. I got a
Yeah,
chance.
Mike.
Yeah, yeah, I got a chance to roll around with him some man, and you know, like to a degree of where he's at, and I
He's
felt
a black
comfortable.
belt now. He's a
Yeah,
black belt now.
I feel comfortable though rolling around with that gym. You know, I was a guy coming out of wrestling and going into Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It's a whole different world. Wrestlers don't like being on your back. In Brazilian
Yeah, no.
jiu-jitsu, you have to be on your back a lot. It is very uncomfortable, but you know, like the technique that they show there, I give them 100%. Like they're about it.
Yeah, no.
They're
Yeah,
about it.
it's very technique oriented in that regard. It's definitely good. Yeah, no, I owe them everything. I owe them they are the ones who gave me the gateway to, you know, even, meeting fighters. I got to meet, obviously I got to have Derek Brunson come to my debut. He
Yes,
was there
sir.
for his fighter and stuff like that. So that was great. And he knows me by mouth at least. And I now train at his gym.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So a lot of people might not know that neither, but Derek Brunson is a former now UFC fighter. He just switched over to another league. What is it? Is it PFL that he's in now?
PFL. Yep.
Yeah, PFL that he's in now. If I'm not mistaken, got his first dub whenever
Yeah.
he went to PFL. I'm not sure if he got the
Yeah.
bonus or not, but I think he deserved the bonus off of that one right
For
there.
sure. Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
But long career, dude, being a lot of people like to call him the gatekeeper, but I don't think they understand how hard that weight class really was.
No.
Not only that, but the guy's been in the top 10 since he's been in that league in the UFC, and that's hard to keep that standard the entire time that you're in the UFC because you know as good as I do, there's up and coming fighters every year that's coming in that's like out of nowhere. Those guys are great. You know what I'm saying? It's a
Yeah.
lot different than what it used to be like.
There definitely was a point, especially I think in the Robert Whitaker fight, where he was really trying hard to go for like a record type thing, and it
Yeah.
cost him. Where he does do a thing where he would blitz in, like, and try and go hardcore, but that after the Whitaker fight, I believe it's changed a little bit. Well, even after the Adesanya fight, I'll tell you what, nobody at Brunson's gym liked Adesanya at that point because it
Oh yeah.
was
Dude, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. So I'm not a big Israel fan neither. Um, but I do respect them. I'll put it that way.
yeah,
You want to talk about a guy that has fought numbers of times. I mean, just from the kickboxing side of things, I think he had like over 100 fights. It's ridiculous.
yeah, it's something to that nature, I believe.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. And then to come to the UFC, you know, come in and dominate the way that he did. I'm not even usually a big fan of watching the smaller guy. I'm gonna be honest, bro. I'm very biased when it comes to UFC. I'm a heavyweight. the heavyweight matches. That's what I like. I like those.
I
right
get
there.
it. I
I
get
respect
it.
a lot of the lighter weights. It's just y'all can do too much cool shit that we can't, and I don't like it.
Believe me, we were at a bar and we had wrestling. It was Oklahoma State and NC State were playing. They were competing against each other, and we literally sat down, ordered a drink and everything, and they had these smaller classes on. And Andrew Vaughn's like, "I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not gonna like it." Eli just looked at us like, "This is not for me."
Yeah.
We sat there for the next hour watching the smaller dudes, and all of a sudden there was like the 230 class, something like that came up.
Well, no, not 230. I forgot exactly what weight class it is. Dang, bro, Alex, sorry, cousin. Can't remember the exact weight class he's in, but I think it's somewhere around like 180 something. But yeah, we were watching that match right there. The thing is, bro, is watching the lighter weight. So you see a lot of things. All right, so y'all do all the cool shit, especially on bottom where y'all can hit rubber guard. There's not too many heavy guys that can do that. The only heavyweight I've ever seen hit rubber guard was Frank Mir, and outside of that, haven't seen too many. I mean, Emelian Ankle, you don't hardly ever get a chance to see him on his back too much because he's dominating people. That was early on, but it's a lot of cool things that y'all get a chance to do, man. From a heavyweight perspective, John Jones is my guy. Don't agree with everything that he's done outside of the cage, but inside the cage, pretty dominant. Not gonna lie.
That's a valid thing.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that his outside stuff is always brought into it.
Yeah, man. I can remember
it.
coming up, dude, being so angry with John because, you see this guy, he literally has the potential to beat anybody. I mean, the only loss on his record is from him hitting 12-6 elbows in a daggone match whenever they were illegal.
That was
modify a lot of stuff. But that was a big guy for me. But even before him, dude, Rampage Jackson was the guy that got me into watching UFC. I used to love Rampage, dude. Rampage was didn't have any sense whatsoever. He said whatever he wanted to. He came out, he was knocking people out. Back in the Pride days, I remember seeing him picking a guy up that had him in an arm bar, and he freaking slams this dude on his neck. They thought he had killed him. The guy's awesome. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen it.
You don't get that for nothing.
No, Rampage was literally a dog. He was just a straight up dog.
You raised the tax, we raised the
roof. Oh man.
Dog.
Well, Tim, if you had to pick one fight, I know this is hard, but if you had to pick one fight, what fight could you watch over and over again and not get tired of it?
It would probably, the one that I could think of is the one that got me excited the most, and it only lasted like 13 seconds, is the McGregor versus Aldo fight.
Oh man. Dang, bro. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
I was shitting my pants. I was like, oh my God, Aldo may have a shot here. And then it happens in 13 seconds. I was at awe. I was like, holy shit. I was so happy that day.
That is insane, man. It's absolutely insane.
That's the one. Yeah. But in terms of, I guess it would have to be Bisping versus GSP, because that was the first time George St. Pierre came back after, I think it was 5 years at that point, and it was just exciting to see him back. I was teary-eyed when I saw him. It was really awesome to see him back in there, and unfortunately that was the last time too, which sucks.
Trust me, bro, I completely understand your excitement. I got a chance to see John Jones last year fight for the first time in 2 years, and he fights at heavyweight going against Cyril Gane, who's this big scary motherfucker that everybody's intimidated by. But then I'm not gonna lie, it eased my mind a little bit when I seen Cyril go against Francis, and Francis had 2 torn up knees, and he still wound up beating the hell out of Cyril. Then I was like, he beat him with wrestling. John's gonna annihilate him.
Yeah,
I knew from that point on. And you know, like unfortunately, we were supposed to be seeing the fight finally between him and Stipe, but that didn't happen because John tore his pec, and so we might not ever see that fight. I'm not gonna lie, Stipe is up there in age. I'm pretty sure Stipe is like semi-retired. He was just gonna come back for that fight. That was it, and I think that was going to be John's last fight.
That's such a disgusting.
Yeah, it's such a toss. Yeah, it's pretty much a toss up. It's just a little bit ridiculous. All these like fights that they want to happen, and then it's like, I don't know, stuff like that pisses me off. Especially like at the time they were trying to get Brock Lesnar and John Jones to fight. It's like, do it then.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the only problem that I have with Dana, man. I feel like him not wanting to pay out fighters for these matchups is what's costing the legacy of this. Like, if he doesn't realize sometimes, I feel like the amount of revenue that would be brought in to see something like that. Can you imagine John Jones and Brock Lesnar going at it? And how many people would pay to see that, bro? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, for instance, we're seeing Michael Venom Page come in now, MVP. Dude's like out of his prime. Now he's getting ready to finally come fight in the UFC. This should have happened 6 years ago.
It's like one of those things where they just like, it's ridiculous. They talk about it, and then it's like, and not even talking about through pay-per-view, not even talking about pay-per-view wise. It's just like they say about doing it, and then it's just like they don't do it, and it's like, well, what are you doing? Like, you're honey dicking us right now. It's kind of ridiculous.
right, absolutely right.
It's ridiculous.
Man, I'm telling you, they're Indian givers is what they are. They give us hope and then they take it back. Indian givers. Sorry, not racist. Don't cancel me, please.
Honey dick and Indian givers.
Yeah,
that's great.
Well, Tim, if you had any advice for anyone that's coming up, man, whether it's athletic wise, academics, anything that you feel like you could touch on that would make an impact, what would it be?
Well, if they want to be a fighter, and I don't want to sound like I'm picking on you.
Hey, go for it, brother. Go for it. I know exactly where you're going.
Me personally, I would not start out at Street Beef.
Yeah. Hey,
I would not start out there. And why I say that, and you and Baby Hulk are really good examples of, like, because you have an athletic fucking background. It's like it's ridiculous. It's for delusional people. But my main thing is like, don't go into a gym. Like, if you come to a gym and you say, hey, I'm looking to fight. Okay, cool. We'll set you up maybe no, I already got something set up for Street Beef. You're out the door. It's for me anyway. I'm like, all right, I'm not training you for that. I will get you set up with training within a year. Make it in that year consistently, and then we'll possibly look for something for you.
Right.
And if they go that route and go into Street Beef for whatever reason, then you're shit out of luck in terms of my support anyway. But overall,
this is why I wanted to have you up here, Tim, because I knew you were going to tell the real on stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Because I've seen some of the, not y'all's, because y'all's are legit. I'm talking about the ones that are full of delusional people. Like, you have one that's in a maid outfit and stuff like that. What the hell are you doing? You have to be delusional.
This is a different.
And they think they're good. I don't know. He was like in a maid outfit. There's one of those videos on there. I shit you not.
Sure you're talking about the fight with Fair Play. The guy named Fair Play. He showed up in the suspenders, and then he has like the little white shirt on with the slacks and everything.
No, it was somebody else. He was legit wearing like one of those lingerie like maid outfits.
God, I gotta go back and see this one for myself.
We got.
I shit you not. It wasn't him. It was someone else. I don't remember who it was, but I was like, you cannot come in here looking like a badass wearing lady lingerie maid outfit. Like you're so it's fucking hilarious. It's
Oh
like
man.
and you have like a guy that's like he thinks he looks like Abraham Lincoln, whatever the fuck.
Are you sure
And
we're
they're
talking about fighting here?
I have
This is
no idea.
going
Dude.
way left.
That's street beef for you.
Hey,
That's street
don't
beef
go
for you.
ninja. Nobody don't need ninja.
It's ridiculous. But yeah. So getting back to the advice portion of this, um, it's just being consistent. Like just have a goal set for yourself. And just and you just got to show up. A lot of what at Brunson says is that like you just got to show up, and if you want to be serious, you got to put in as 100%. Try your best not to take breaks, um, especially when you have a fight set up. And listen to your coaches, and take constructive criticism from your coaches and everything like that seriously, including the other fighters, because I've learned from other fighters as well. Um, and I would like to think they've learned something from me. I've been told I'm a decent sparring partner. Um, but yeah, it's just about consistency and like what you want. If you really want to do this, that's all it takes, really. And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate those words. One of the things that I still coach with high school wrestling at the time and stuff, and I have to tell those kids like, look, you can play basketball, you can play baseball, you can play football. You don't play wrestling. You don't play fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like those are not sports where you get to play. Like you are literally going in there trying to annihilate your opponent every single time that you step in there.
It's a different mindset.
Yeah. So I joke with Dylan all the time. I told him, I was like, dude, MMA fighters and wrestlers were crazy. Like, the mindset that you have to be in to be one of those two is a completely different thing from setting aside from playing football or, any of those other sports.
I equated to powerlifting.
Yeah.
You don't play around with heavyweight.
Nah, you don't. Like this is literally something that's life threatening.
Yeah. This is not good for you.
Yeah, no, definitely isn't. That's something I do need to improve on. Is definitely the weight training and stuff like that, because that's a thing I've been lacking for quite some time. I'm lucky that I've been able to like gone through it without it, but at this point, it definitely needs to be put in there somewhere.
Well, now you're tapping into Dylan's world on this. He is actually a personal trainer, certified personal trainer. So maybe whenever this right here is all said and done, y'all two can get hooked up on that, and maybe he can pitch you some stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I'm in the middle of ACL recovery right now.
I gotta be careful.
So that's been going on since September. And dude, I'm finally starting to get back to being able to do some things that I want to do. But Dylan's training has honestly helped out a lot. It really has. So if you're looking for somebody to help you out with that right there, that's a good person to go for.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Just among other things.
Yes, sir. Well, hey man, look, I appreciate you for giving us the time to tell your story and everything that's going on with you. I look forward to having you back up here again sometime, because like I said, I want to do some reaction videos with you. I want to watch some fights, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I would love to do that, dude. I would hope to give you a kick on when I have my reactions and shit.
Oh yeah, that'll be some amped up episodes, that's for sure.
Yeah,
dude, I would totally be down for that for sure. Also, I've been trying to it's been 2 years, but I've been slowly getting back into streaming, Call of Duty, or just gaming streaming in general. I just got set up with doing it on Facebook actually now. The Celtic Assassin gaming. Yeah, I sent it to you.
Yeah, I was actually watching it yesterday.
Yeah, it's pretty chill for the most part and stuff like that. So like, trying to get that going and see where I can go with it on Facebook portion. I do have it on Twitch as well, but for some reason they've wanted me to do it on Facebook for the longest time, so I'm like, I'll do it on there because I guess the traction will go a lot quicker there.
Oh heck yeah!
I've heard that Facebook is a really good resource for streaming like that. You get a lot of outreach that way.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be done a lot more there. So it'll probably be done. I'm going to try and do it like like on Fridays and on the weekend, and then Mondays and stuff like that. But we'll see where it goes. I try to give updates as much as I can. So
cool deal. And where can everybody find you at on those platforms that you will be doing stuff? I mean, if you have any social media that you want to put out here, then drop it down for us real quick.
Yeah, on Instagram it's the Celtic Assassin _MMA. On twitch.tv/Celtic Assassin 94. And on my Facebook gaming, it's Celtic Assassin 94 gaming. And that's pretty much it, unless I give out my personal one, which is on my personal Facebook. That's a different thing.
Yes, I understand that completely. Well, Tim, thanks again, man, for being on the show with us. We enjoyed you. Sorry it took so long, brother.
Oh no, by all means, we're all busy. I was just trying to. I try to keep everybody on their toes,
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Yeah, behind the scenes is now you doing streaming and all that. Behind the scenes work with a lot of this stuff ends up getting chaotic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yes, sir. Hey, my legs are dead from all this soccer content I've been trying to put out. But man, look, like I said, thanks again. Look forward to having you back. This has been another episode of the Risky Business Podcast with my co-host once again, Dylan Kraft, and our special guest, the Celtic Assassin, Tim Balogh. Thank y'all. Have a great night.